It sounds like if somebody got convicted of a violent crime that he just described, you could be
Wait, sorry, so you're saying what's wrong with sending Americans to a prison in El Salvador?
I'm saying
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying what's wrong with sending people who are convicted of violent crimes to prison, period.
No, that's not what he said.
Yeah, think about how scary this is. All they have to do is allege it, and then it could happen, and you're okay with that.
I'm okay with this administration doing anything and everything within its power to protect the American people from the invasion that occurred over the last 4 years. I mean,
how is it okay by the law to extradite Americans to a foreign country for crimes they committed here?
well, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think what he's saying is if it's okay by the law. I know you want all the illegals and all the violence out of jail. I know that.
People in jail. Nobody's disputing it.
Listen, I'm just gonna leave that right there because the idea that you can just take an American, even if they're in jail, and just send them to a foreign country and say bye-bye is not a thing that has happened in this country.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. I don't know what else you call this other than just constant racist fear-mongering. What they're thinking about doing now is disgusting. Check this out, and we'll talk about it.
Breaking news, the Supreme Court gives the green light for Trump to use the Alien Enemies Act to speed up deportations, at least for now. Now, this law is from 1798, but there is a catch. Deportees may now be notified and allowed to challenge their removal. Rachel Lindsay and Elizabeth Pipko are here at the table with us. Also joining us in our fifth seat is civil and criminal attorney Dante Mills. He's a professor at Temple University's Beasley School of Law. So, Dante, this decision is being heralded as a carte blanche for the administration to continue just shipping people to El Salvador. Not quite what the court said here today, but explain to us the significance of them actually even allowing this to go forward while this litigation is
It's not at all what the court said today. And I'll just say Stephen Miller just making it up. One thing this administration is good at is controlling the narrative. So they're trying to claim a win, but it's not a win. What the court said, the court didn't address whether or not the Enemies Aliens Act can be used. What they said, it was an improper venue. So they said the claim or the contest had to come from the state where the person was being housed. In this case, that's Texas. Unfortunately, the case was brought in Washington, D.C., and the district court judge put a stop to the deportations. So it seems as if the Supreme Court is allowing the deportations to continue because they lifted that stay, but they only lifted that stay because the case wasn't supposed to be brought in D.C., it was supposed to be brought in Texas, but they included in their decision that these people have the right to challenge their deportation. It just has to come in a different venue.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot on this show about this question of what are the rights of immigrants and whether they are accused of being a member of a gang or not. Justice Kavanaugh, noted conservative Trump appointee, says the court's disagreement with the dissenter is not over whether the detainees receive judicial review of their transfers. All 9 members of the court agree that judicial review is available. The only question, to Dante's point, is where that judicial review should occur. So at some point, and the administration's been claiming the courts have no jurisdiction over this, the Supreme Court said, no, that's not the case. The courts absolutely do. And the detainees have a right to a day in court before they are sent away.
Yeah, fine. I mean, look, it sounds to me like they're going to be able.
You hear, Scott? Yeah, fine. He's not happy about that. That you have a right to defend yourself. That if you're even legally here or not. And I'm gonna talk about this a bit later, but the truth is Republicans, if they could have it their way, they wouldn't have legal Hispanics here. That's the damn truth.
To use this law as long as these people get their day in court, the administration shows their cards on why they were picked up and deported or prepared for deportation in the first place. So it feels to me like everybody got something, which is that the Trump administration feels like they got some legal vindication on the use of the law. A lot of people were crapping on them over it, and the people who want these immigrants to get some kind of due process are going to get that as well.
But I don't think they even vindicate. I'll let you in, Rachel, but Dante's shaking his head. I'm shaking my head because they did not rule on the use of the law. They
didn't
just
address
said,
it at all.
Wrong court.
But they're going to keep using it, right?
until
until it's
the
challenged.
next challenge.
Until it's
Until the next
So
challenge.
like when we wake up in the morning, they're going to keep using it, yes?
No.
Well, no,
and-
because now they have due process.
But
was a
the, but
huge
the, but
issue
the
that was a-
administration will continue to use the law as a justification for deporting people, yes?
But nobody goes anywhere, right? Because now
Yes,
the
absolutely.
detainees have the option to.
So let me just ask one more
they get
time. When
notice
we
and
wake
they
up
get
in the
to
morning,
challenge it.
they will use the law as
But it won't do
justification.
They're not using the law.
So you can
The
be
law- they
cute and
haven't-
say that they can
haven't
just
turned the
kick
law-
people out of the country, but that's not what the court said. And in fact, the court said
Right.
these
So they're
people
gonna
are
keep using the law.
entitled.
So they're
They're
gonna keep using the
entitled
law.
to their
Do
day in
you
court.
need him to
contest
say
it.
no?
I just
Because I
want to
think that's
know.
what he's
I
saying
just
is
want to
no.
The
know
court hasn't ruled on using
if
the
the
law yet.
administration can use the law tomorrow. The answer is clearly
Well,
yes.
look, they can attempt to use the law, but I think what we can expect is that it'll be challenged.
Right, the law exists still, but it doesn't mean that they're using the law to actually be able to deport it. Now they get to actually challenge the law. The detainees get to challenge the law in court. It just still exists. They haven't said that it doesn't, which when they go back, they have to start all over again. Am I right, Dante?
And if they
now
do-
they get to answer
yeah.
the legal question, which they haven't done at all yet. They haven't
And if
even
they do
addressed
use
it.
the law in that way, I don't think it's anything we should be proud of because that means
Why?
they're trying to get around the court system. The court, in fact, said, it's Justice Sotomayor said, it's not proper for the way they're trying to use this law and tell these detainees they don't have the right to challenge it, and they're shipping them on planes before they can get in court. So the Supreme Court said, stop doing that. And they said, give these people the opportunity to
Yeah.
contest it, and if you're right, but don't get around the law.
There's real implications here around the board on all sides of this thing. Like there's on most issues, even earlier today. Like as somebody who's here who runs a firm, we've talked about this. Both of my business partners are immigrants. Both of them came here as small little kids, and one of them are in fear right now. As an immigration activist, if you've come to this country and you've done a heinous crime, you should be sent back. And I'm saying this as a Democrat. But I think the stories that we see coming out of this and what worries me every single day, even for my family and my own friends, is that it's just too broad. And again, I hear Ruben Gallego talk about this and other folks, and I grimace because, you know, I try not to say what's really on my heart, which is I'm angry, but I also am a realist. That's what gets me in trouble sometimes with my own party. But you can't have both of these things. And what we need to do is figure out the right way to get this done so that innocent people and more stories like we see coming out don't happen.
Let me
Right.
play, this is the attorney.
I have to correct something he said. As a Democrat, he said, I don't want undocumented immigrants that committed heinous crimes to be here. All Democrats, I've never heard of a Democrat disagree with that. If you're undocumented here and you and you did a heinous crime, yeah, I think it's fair for you to be deported. Like, what are these guys talking about? But even legal immigrants, I think you can make the argument. That's fair. Like,
For Andre Hernandez Romero. He is the gay Venezuelan makeup artist who was deported to El Salvador, apparently because he had tattoos on his arms that said mom and dad. Here's what his attorney says about what happened there.
He has denied from the moment he arrived here that he is a gang member, and to think that without due process, without a hearing, without the notice that the Supreme Court tonight said is due to every single person, we are gravely concerned for his safety in the Secot. We know the conditions there. We know that there are reports of torture.
So he is one of those people who now, I guess maybe it's too late for him. He's been deported and on, it seems, according to his attorney, baseless claims that he was in a gang.
Yeah, think about how scary this is. All they have to do is allege it, and then it could happen, and you're okay with that.
I'm okay with this administration doing anything and
not
everything
affecting you
within
right
its
now.
power to protect the American people from the
what?
invasion that occurred
Elizabeth,
over the last
yeah,
4
when
years.
you're
You say
That is
because
what
it's
I'm
not
for.
affecting him right now. I will say when people are in our country that are here illegally but also committing heinous crimes, it actually does affect all of us. So I do think we're impacted by it. I don't think that's fair to say. I understand the concern. I'm also uncomfortable with the use of the term immigrant. For example, I'm a daughter of 2 immigrants. There's immigrant and there's those that came here illegally and commit atrocious crimes and didn't deserve to be here to begin with. So I think we should separate the
But
two.
nobody's arguing that they should be here. Nobody.
Well, we're sitting here debating whether Donald Trump
No.
and his administration
We're
should
sitting
be
here
deporting
saying
people.
that they can grab somebody like Abrego Garcia, who was not supposed to be deported, deport him to a prison.
Do we
and
know
then
that
when,
he was
when
not
they,
supposed to
and
be
then when they
deported?
admit that they did it by accident, they say, oh, it's too late. We have no jurisdiction now. We can't do anything about it. That's not fair. And it can happen to anybody. So, and if we don't stop it now, the scope will get bigger, and then it will happen to you, and then you'll have a problem with it.
I think I'll.
So I gotta stop the video. Every time they make this connection, I'm going to stop the video. Trying to say immigrants and heinous crimes, immigrants and violent. The reason that she doesn't want to be associated with immigrants is because right now, well, in people's head, immigrants, illegal immigrants, let's just be real. They're talking about Hispanics. She doesn't want to be associated with Hispanic immigrants. And I'm sick of this constant connection to scare the crap out of people that somehow immigrants are more violent when, again, they commit crimes at lower rate than legal Americans. And I said this earlier in the video. If Republicans, if Republicans could get legal Hispanics out of this country, they would. There's no doubt in my mind. This little tactic that they do, this is the same thing they do with black people in this country. As of late with this DEI stuff. Oh, they're only there because of DEI. Oh, they're only there because they're woke. Oh, I wouldn't trust a plane if there's a black pilot, because I didn't think he would deserve to be there. Essentially saying they're incompetent. But then refuse to acknowledge that black women are the most educated group in the country. Every time they make these connections, I stop the video and correct it. Go look it up. See if black women are the most educated group in the country. And if you still disagree with it and you still push back against it, think about what that means about you. It's the same thing with these illegal immigrants. They commit crimes at a lower rate.
So you're conflating legal American citizens with people who came here illegally. We do this all the time in these debates. And I think what the administration is trying to do is be as aggressive as possible at deporting different kinds of populations. One, people who've committed heinous, violent crimes. Number two, people that were violent before they came here. Number three, anyone who came here illegally. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but if you came here illegally, no matter how well-intentioned you were, there's probably a decent chance you're going to be sent back. And that's what the administration clearly communicated to the American people in the election. They overwhelmingly voted for it, and it's not particularly a controversial matter.
Let me just, before we go, I want to, because we were talking about American citizens and the dividing line here. Here's Trump talking about, I guess, the prospect of sending American citizens to El Salvador, too.
Go back to El Salvador. The president there said he would be willing to take American citizens in the federal prison population. Is that one of the ideas you're going to be discussing?
Well, I love that. If we could take some of our 20-time wise guys that push people into subways and that hit people over the back of the head and that purposely run people over in cars, if he would take them, I'd be honored to give. If they can house these horrible criminals for a lot less money than it costs us, I'm all for it. But I'd only do according to the law.
Well,
I mean, what is that? Do you guys? This is just a way of getting legal, to me, in my view, legal people of color, probably mainly Hispanic and black people, deported. Let's be real. If a white guy was charged with something, especially in the name of Trump and Republicans, right? Like the January 6th rioters, you really think they're gonna get deported to El Salvador? Who do you think will be deported there? Let's be real. It'll be black and brown people. These people are disgusting. And this is why I always say an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't see the problem.
I wonder who gets to determine what the law is, because this administration seems to think the courts don't.
Well, it sounds like
And
if
that he
somebody
does.
got convicted of a violent crime that he just described,
You just
could be-
added
you could be
Wait,
sent to
sorry.
prison.
So you're saying what's wrong with sending Americans to a prison in El Salvador?
I'm saying
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying what's wrong with sending people who are convicted of violent crimes to prison, period.
No. That's not what he said. He said he's going to send them to a prison.
Yeah, so
The vice president called it a gulag in El Salvador. Is that okay with you?
If you are convicted of a violent crime in this country, and a court finds you guilty of whatever those things he just listed, and it's okay by the law, which he said at the end of his answer, I mean,
How is it okay by the law to extradite Americans to a foreign country for crimes they committed here?
well, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think what he's saying is if it's okay by the law to put someone in prison,
Okay, but I
then
know,
they're going to do
Scott,
it. But he said if it's okay by the law, I don't know if it is or not, but that's what he said.
Okay. Oh, all
But
right.
you don't know. You just said it.
Yeah,
All right,
I
well,
don't think that's
All right,
okay.
everybody at home.
I don't have a problem with
Everybody wants-
I know you want all the illegals and all the violence out of
Everybody
jail.
wants
I know that.
people in jail. Nobody's
I'm just
disputing it.
gonna-
That's
I'm
our
not-
process.
nobody
Follow the
said that
process.
that's
Listen,
what
I'm
we
just
want.
gonna leave that right there, because The idea that you can just take an American, even if they're in jail, and just send them to a foreign country and say bye-bye is not a thing that has happened in this country. Dante Mills, thank you.
Scott Jennings is such a little freak. He's just so disgusting. Like, it's, in the beginning of the conversation there, he tried to act like what? Trump just wants to put people in prison. Completely missing the point that he wants to put legal American citizens in an El Salvadorian prison. Do you not see the issue there? And then at the end there, because he has a little temper tantrum like a kid, okay, yeah, I get it. The Democrats just want prisoners and violent people all over the street. For the billionth time, I don't know any Democrats that are okay with violent criminals roaming down the streets. No one wants that. But we believe in a due process, in a system that determines that the claim that one is claiming is real. That you don't get to just be like, oh, he has tattoos on his neck, arrest him. And let's be real, if he's brown and has tattoos on his neck, because if he's white and he has tattoos on his neck and has a swastika on his head, that's perfectly fine with Republicans. This is insane, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. This doesn't just affect immigrants. Just like the DEI stuff doesn't just affect black and brown people. These things all are connected. You allow one group to get attacked, it makes the next group, it's easier for the next group to get attacked, and the next group, and the next group. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please subscribe if you're not. It really helps the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one.